Looking out through the windshield, seeing that endless road stretched out before me, no sign of life anywhere, was daunting. I had never heard of Fields, Oregon. I was starting to think that it didn't exist. I was 22 years old and on my way to interview for a teaching position, my first real job. I was terrified. Fields was a dot. I almost drove right past it. I did have to turn around to get back to the school. When I walked in, the men stood up. That was a first. The formality didn't last long. They were cowboys after all, and good friends to boot. The ribbing and joking lasted longer than the official interview. Within a week I heard back from them. The job was mine, if I was willing to accept it. I was. About a month later, with the U-Haul filled with my possessions, my dad and brother moved me down to the middle of nowhere. I couldn't wait. Due to the limited housing available, there was none. The school provided a teacherage, a house for the teacher on school property. It was tiny, a one-bedroom, but it was just me and my dog. It was a perfect fit. It didn't take long for me to realize that I was the odd man out. Not only was I an outsider, but I was the only person in 100 square miles that didn't own a cow, a horse, a gun, or a truck. I had a schnauzer named Buster, and a red sports car. Everyone was amazingly friendly, but I was surprised at how isolated it really was. My nearest neighbor was a quarter-mile away, unless I counted the longhorn cattle virtually in the schoolyard. Donna, the lady that managed the local cafe/gas station/store/post office/hotel with her husband Daryl, made the absolute best milkshakes in the world. She treated me to a couple as I settled into this new phase of my life. She was a lot of fun to talk to. She reminded me of my grandma. Finally, the day I was most looking forward to and dreading at the same time came. The first day of school. Did I mention that I was going to be teaching in a 2-room school? I was. I had 9 students, kindergarten through 3rd grade. Triplets and another little boy were my kindergartners. The big brother of the triplets was my 1st grader. 2 2nd graders and 2 3rd graders. The board wanted a second teacher because Mrs. Jeanette would have had 17 students kindergarten through 8th grade otherwise. I have to admit, I don't remember anything about that first month of school. As the months progressed, however, I loved it. I loved the solitude, the quiet, the security. I loved how I could look out my window and see an airplane taxiing up the road to the cafe. I loved watching the quail sitting on the seat of my bike. I loved getting up and going to school every day. My students were amazing. They were smart and fun and so friendly and courteous to each other. Some of those kids spent an hour each way coming and going to school. Fields was an amazing adventure in my life. I'll never forget driving 2 hours to go grocery shopping, an owl swooping down to try and pick up my dog, watching cattle jump a barbed wire fence, laughing as big brothers and sisters used their younger siblings for roping practice, trying to ride bareback. I'll never forget my experiences teaching in my own little house on the prairie school.